Hey everyone, this is Fi. We're checking out 5-Bit Hero. This is a game I've not played before. We're going to give it a playtest and see if we can give some useful feedback. I've got the game page open here. This is WASD/arrow keys/D-pad for movement, Z/spacebar/X for interact. This is very bare bones at the moment. All feedback is welcome though. So that's all we got. I'm not sure even what kind of game this is, but let's go ahead and jump into it. So this here is the first thing that you see when you run the game. I've not seen anything past the screen so far, so we've got welcome back, level 1. I guess there's a little guy jumping up and down. A little hard to see him against the background here. It's very dark gray against dark gray kind of thing. I don't know, I guess I just pressed the, I actually grabbed the Xbox controller here, so I'm going to try that out. It did say X as, I don't know if that's like the PlayStation X, you know, that is always different, but I'm guessing it's going to be like the bottom button, which is A on the Xbox. Welcome back, you don't need to rest right now. I guess it's not that. So that, for whatever reason, makes me want to rest. And then if I press a different button, start button maybe. Start button, for some reason, flips us into windowed mode. Select. All right, so, oh, okay, so the D-pad, oh, okay. So, yeah, so my my assumption here, because the background was so dark, I thought that this was like some kind of a UI overlay, and this was like some kind of game in the background. And I was supposed to press something to like start the game, and then it was gonna like lighten up, and I could see and do things. I didn't think I was like actually in the game yet. I didn't think this text would kind of just be hovering there in this bar and stuff like that. But I guess I'm like actually, I'm already controlling this. It looks like the scavenger is attacking me, and I'm not doing anything. Club, I think that says cower, C-O-W-E-R. I can't really, yeah, coward in fear, okay. So I can spam this. Hold X to rest. All right, so interesting. So yeah, I took a ton of damage there. I wasn't really trying to survive that. I was just trying to make some observations there. But yeah, so immediately when I loaded into the game here, there's just so little contrast that it made me confused. Combined with the way that this sort of UI was laid out here, where I don't think most games have this kind of text and stuff that's just kind of right in the middle of the screen like that. But it's not to say it's bad. It's just it was misleading in the way it's presented. But yeah, I would definitely maybe consider tweaking some of the colors here. I can understand like maybe it's nighttime or whatever, but I don't think you want it to be like really low contrast like that. You don't really need low contrast to represent nighttime. You know, just make things kind of bluish or whatever, that works. All right, a new day dawns. So I got my health back. Time in the top right says 11, volume 0.20. I don't know what that means. I mean, I would assume that would be like the audio volume or something. It's just kind of strange to put that in the game UI, I guess. But yeah, it looks like I'm just wandering around and sometimes encountering guys. Then it has this sort of, what do we call that? I think in the Final Fantasy days it was, shoot. I don't know. They had some buzzword name for it where it was kind of pseudo real time, where, or I think it was like active time battle, something like that. So the enemies kind of are on little cooldowns, and then you have to kind of make quick decisions. It seemed like it was particularly rapid fire, like the way that the enemy was attacking me, which is interesting. I think in the, all right, so I don't know what this is for. Okay, start button. The only button I've really pressed is what apparently is for resting. So I guess I don't know. There's this tent thing here. I guess I don't interact with that. I guess I'm just gonna club this guy. So I think I can just hold the button down to keep clubbing him. I did notice it's a little meter type thing along the bottom of the screen here. I'm going to guess it's going to be like experience or something. Looks like time in the top right is progressing as I move around and do different things. Yeah, so there might not be much more. Oh, looks like I can actually move off the map here. Excuse me. just now noticed there is like a little bit of sound effects very, very quietly. I don't think cowering in fear does anything, presumably. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check what my volume level is here real quick, just to get an idea of what I'm listening to. Just make sure I don't have this cranked up or like really down low. It looks like I have it at a reasonable volume level. So yeah, we got like really this quiet little tick of a sound effect in the game here. It's not a problem or anything. All right, looks like yeah, we're going back into nighttime. Goblin Scavenger, I gained 12 XP and 5 gold extra. So like it seems like the game is kind of understanding that if I get kind of low health, then I should probably rest. But yeah, so this is, oh my gosh, this is almost complete black. That moment of the, I guess it's the darkest point in time in the night or whatever. Obviously nighttime is kind of dark. You can't necessarily see that much in the real world, but I don't know if it's really necessary in the context of this game. Oh crap. My club is at 0. Okay. Interesting. So I think I was just holding down the button for a while there, but I think the club said it was at like 0 out of whatever. So I was like, okay, I was assuming once it was at 0, it wasn't going to keep working. But I guess it did. I'm not really sure what happened there exactly. So in any case, let's do the rest. I managed to level up. I don't think I got health back for leveling up. But yeah, I'm level 2 now. I don't know if we're gonna encounter any other enemies or whatever. Obviously, the game page mentioned it was very bare bones. This is really very early in development. I don't know if there's something. Looks like another Goblin Scavenger. So yeah, the whole number beside the attack thing, that just makes me think of like the Pokemon system where you have these kind of limited uses of attacks. I don't know what else that number would be. I'm not sure if even that is implemented yet for the way that it seemed to go before. I don't know. I guess we're just gonna. I didn't mean to cower. Let's see what happens here. Now it's red. Okay, yeah, I guess it still works even though it goes down to 0. So maybe that's just maybe part of it isn't implemented, or maybe it's not working the way I expected it to, and it's just something completely different. I don't know what that is to be honest, but that was my assumption. So yeah, I'm starting to think that's probably all we're gonna get out of this. Looks like you can move around like really fast. So again, I'm just holding the button down. Oh yeah, so you can like hold directional input and it moves like maybe too fast. So I'm level 3 now. I feel like maybe the goblins are getting stronger even though I'm like level 3, which is kind of funny. So I don't know if maybe the enemies are scaling along with my level or whatever, which is kind of, this is obviously really early and bare bones, but it does give this feeling of being kind of artificial. Like if I'm leveling up, but the enemies just level up too, then it's like it's not actually doing anything. It's just showing me a bigger number, I guess. I'm not sure if that's the case, but that's kind of the sense I got about it. But yeah, so as far as what's here, I think honestly, I'd suggest slowing it down a little bit, and by that, what I mean specifically is the rate at which individual actions are occurring, not necessarily the overall pacing, because it can be nice to have like a turn-based RPG that's kind of really swift in its pacing. That can be a nice concept if you pull it off well. But I think like the way the enemies are kind of doing this like super rapid fire attack, I'm not sure if that necessarily would feel as good as if they did kind of attacked more slowly, but had like a stronger attack, you know? Just kind of shift the timings around like that. Um, so that maybe it felt like you had a little bit of room in there to make like little decisions and such like that. Right now, excuse me, you know, there's not other gameplay features and stuff in here, so I don't know what's planned for the future, what the developer has in mind. But you know, you have the two options. One of them apparently doesn't do anything. So obviously, in the current state, I'm not really making decisions and stuff like that. But it is a little weird when it just like I'm moving around and then it's like instantly I'm in the battle and then instantly I'm taking damage by this guy already, and it's like it, it sort of makes it feel like more of like a, I don't know, a reflexive thing when it's supposed to be like a sort of a turn-based game. Um, and it just doesn't really work well, I don't think. And it's kind of, you know, jarring to just like suddenly be flung into a different screen and already, you know, have an enemy attacking you and stuff. Um, so I wouldn't necessarily, you know, I'm not going to suggest you make it like the sort of traditional style of RPG where you have like this really long and dramatic transition screen where it's like, oh, the screen turns to glass and then it breaks in like a 3D animation, and then like the camera swirls around the monsters, and then you know, all this stuff, and then one of the monsters attacks and it takes like 5 seconds for the animation. Like obviously there's a lot of these, like especially the Japanese RPGs that really drag things out. I'm not suggesting you do any of that, but just little bits of stuff can make a really big difference in the overall pacing of stuff. So maybe have some kind of a transition into the battle screen before the guy starts attacking you. You know, it could be like 1 second long or something, or maybe less than um, just some amount of time, and then you know, have this maybe once you go into the battle screen, then like you could have the enemy and they could, instead of like immediately attacking you, he might have like a little meter that just kind of gradually goes up, and then at the end when the meter fills he'll attack, and this kind of thing. And you can just have these little sort of spacing timing elements that kind of give the player the breathing room they need to do different functions and stuff. In my opinion, that would be something that would feel better than what you have right here, which is, I don't know, it's almost kind of spastic in a way. It's just even the way you can kind of, if you just like hold the direction down on the overworld here, you just like move so quickly. It's like you almost just instantly run into another guy. Um, so like even with regards to that, I think it would make sense to slow things down so you don't just like move that rapidly. And I guess the resting is probably tied, I don't know if it's tied to low health or to the club running out of juice, or maybe both. But yeah, so obviously not much else to talk about here, but yeah, I think these little subtle tweaks in the timings and the pacing of the way it's unfolding would help. But you could of course still preserve the speedy nature of the game, and that would be pretty cool. So hopefully that's useful for you. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next video.